Whenever we have a conversation in our community of entrepreneurs and it comes to speaking about delegation, at least half of the people of my network start rolling their eyes like this because they hate delegation because they don't know how to do it. You see, when we are a founder, if you are a founder just like me, you know that we started as the best person in the company. We're best at sales, at marketing, at doing this and that. In the beginning, it's the best thing in our lives, but when it comes to scaling, it's actually the worst thing. Because you cannot let go of so many things in your business, you cannot delegate, it creates so much frustration for you and for your team that you just cannot grow. And today I want to cover to you the framework I'm using to effectively delegate almost all of the tasks step by step in the business. My framework of delegation is based on answering 3 simple questions, and if I can answer all 3 of them, I've made my homework very well. These are the questions are what, who, and by when. Let me explain. What means what exactly needs to be done? What is the task? And the answer should give to this question should be so exhaustive, as we call it, the monkey should understand it, right? So for example, instead of saying, hey, publish this video for me, right? We can't do this as entrepreneurs, and you probably feel the same way. If that's exactly, if you catch yourself doing something similar, just let me know in the comments. But as entrepreneurs, we sometimes just say like, oh yes, just do this, figure this out for me, right? Because we don't want to think about this. I think this is why we delegate. We don't want to take care of this ourselves, right? The challenge is what we have in our minds, it's not the same as in other person's mind. And until we learn telepathy, until we can just download and upload our whole brain into someone else, this is not a good way to delegate. So the question of what should be is, what are the steps that you need to do one by one to make this, if this is the first time you're doing this. So instead of upload this video on YouTube for me, it should be upload this video to YouTube, use this title, use this description, this thumbnail, don't forget to upload subtitles, don't forget to set meta tags, don't forget to do chunks of like the sections of the video, don't forget to schedule it, not to post it instantly, and this and that. See, there are already like 7 to 10 points just out of my mind, from my mind, that you can write down instead of upload a video for me. If you have this, you've done a really good job answering the question number 1. The question number 2 from this framework, if you remember, is who, right? Who is going to do it? This is also a really tricky question because when you have a team, let's say you have a meeting with 5 members and you decide that something needs to be done. You need to delegate a particular task and you say, yes, this is exactly what we're going to do. This is the process. You've done your good job on the first question, right? But okay, let's go. But who's going to do it? And please don't be surprised then in 2 weeks when you ask like, was it done? You ask your manager, right? Was it done? You're like, no, who's going to do it? But I have sent the tasks. Yes, but who was supposed to do that? And at these moments, I beg you, please, as a leader, don't get mad at your team, because this is not their fault. You see, it's your part of responsibility to answer those 3 questions. And we're only on the second one, right? Who exactly is going to take responsibility? Who is going to be accountable for that? So when you set up a task, it needs to be crystal clear to everyone in the room who is going to do it. And the person needs to confirm, okay, I'm taking it, I will do it. Without that, the task is just flying in the air. The element number 3 of my framework for setting tasks and delegating them is the question, by when? So you set up a very particular task and you've actually assigned a person to it. Have you set up the deadlines? You see, this is the problem that I was myself facing quite some times in the past. When I delegate a task, I tell exactly how to do it because I'm very technical, I'm structured. So I have a document, I send the responsibility, the assignee, but maybe then in 3 weeks I say like, okay, how's the process? It should be done like 2 weeks ago. And they're like, no, I haven't done this because you said it's like has to be done sometimes, so I figured out I'll do it next month. And you're like getting mad and saying, ooh, but you should have done this, and oh, it's your fault, you're responsible. No. Have you set the deadlines? Have you set the expectation on when it needs to be done? Because if you haven't, there's no one to blame but you. You see, the challenge here is to actually set the timeline that works both for you and the person, and you need to confirm this. Because the real delegation lies in taking off entirely your responsibility and just empowering your person, your team member, to take care of that. Meaning they should be aware of the time, because the goal or the task set without a timeline is a wish, it's a desire. It's just something that has to be done sometime in the future. Meaning it's not prioritized, and in most cases it just will be skipped. So by when is the last but not the least aspect of delegation that will help you actually measure the tasks that your team does and actually run the delegation successfully. What is your process of delegation? Do you have any other checkboxes you need to put before you can actually get the task to a team member? Let me know in the comments. What I'm currently doing is I'm interviewing successful startup SaaS founders at my podcast. I call it SaaS Insiders, where I bring them and sometimes even venture capitalists. I have some very special guests scheduled up. You'll be very surprised. Where I ask them the questions on how it's currently working in the SaaS industry and how you can get the most out of it. So stay tuned, subscribe to my YouTube channel, connect with me on LinkedIn to stay in touch and be the first one to get these gems. Until next time, I will see you in my next video.